Okay, so we can call these seed pods. And I wanted to show you the first one I did. Not quite as good, right? I improved, I think, on the second time. And so will you. It's part of learning. So if we look at it carefully, we can see... Won't let me zoom in. Bummer. If we look at it carefully, you can see that some of these seed pods are on top and some are underneath. And it alternates. So be careful with the alternating. Here we go. How do we start? Easy enough. We're going to do a grid. So a couple of our Zentangles start with a grid, don't they? All right, so for your first one, you'll want to do a 90-degree grid, but when you get good at it, you can try putting it in curves. But for your first one, just do squares. Now, it just so happens that some of my squares are smaller, so we'll deal with those last. Now, the first step is, in the first row, you're going to put, I don't know, we could call it a leaf shape, something like an eyeball or a leaf, right? You're going to go from one corner curved to the other corner and back and create like an eyeball shape or a leaf shape. And you're going to do that in the first row all the way across, putting one in each box. So you could also call them, I don't know, football shaped, eyeball shape, leaf shape. I'm going to finish mine on pause. You can put me on pause and finish yours. Okay, so you can see that they're all leaning in the same direction. All right, now in the next row, we're going to have them lean in the other direction. So I'm going to finish my row, put it on pause. You finish too. All right, we're going to do our third row. So it only makes sense that we switch directions again and have it lean going the other way. They all exactly the same? No, but they're all leaning in the same way. They're all going from one corner to the next. They're not too skinny, because if they're too skinny, it's going to be hard to do the stuff inside of it. So be careful of that. Now we'll go to the next row, and guess what? We're going to alternate. That was a little skinny. I'm going to try to do this one a little wider. That was skinny too. Come on. Skinny mini. Let's go wider. And it's a little better. Give me more room. It's kind of hard to do this with the phone in my way, so it's always a challenge. One last row. I'm going to do it off camera, but you better believe it's going to be going in this direction. Put me on pause and finish yours. Okay, so now I got to deal with this skinny row. So instead of smushing the design, what I got to do is visualize what the design would look like if I had the full space. All right, and I want to alternate directions, so we went lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the right, and all the way the same across. All right, so now we're going to go in the opposite direction, but you can see how some of my leaf shapes are off the edge of the page. So you can see you only have that part. Now, if you can visualize that, great, but I find it beneficial to actually draw the row the correct size and then draw it so that it looks like it was cut off without being smushed. All right, so now the next step is to do the inside, a little echo, a concentric shape that is inside of it, each one. All right, I'm going to do that on pause. You put me on pause, you do it too. But don't forget, when you go to the second row, that the concentric shape that's inside of it, the little echo, is going in the same direction. All right, so now I'm going to finish all of them. Okay, so now we're going to do the shape that goes underneath each one. All right, so do the one that goes underneath. So what do? You do kind of a triangle down here from corner to corner, and make sure you go all the way to the corner. And then you do a little echo on the inside. And then, whatever you think you would see of this shape, you do. So it could be all 4 of these lines, or maybe only 3 of them. And we'll see, maybe even sometimes just 2 of them. So the idea is to make it look like it goes under. Notice how I lift my pen up? I'm not drawing through it, am I? So I drew one behind there. And now I'm going to do a little V here, a little V there, and then, so it looks like it goes behind. So I'll do that again. So I'm going to go a V here, lift my pen up like it's continuing on the other side. And this line you would see just sticking out there. This line you would maybe see there. Don't forget the little V on the inside. Okay. I'm going to do the next 2 off camera. Okay, so you can see, was this perfect right here? No. Am I going to throw it out? No. I'm going to keep moving forward. All right, so I bet you when we're all done like this, you won't even notice. So now that I'm going to do the shape that goes underneath this one, it goes over here. So again, it's kind of like a little V shape or triangle that should go all the way to the corner. And then another one over here. Kind of a V. And then another one inside of it on both. And then what do you do in the middle? You just kind of draw lines that you think you would see as this line would go underneath. It would peek through that opening. All right, I'm going to do one more. So there's my V. It should go all the way to the line. Here's another V, all the way to the corner. Then a little bit on the inside, little V on the inside. Now, in the opening, what would I see? This line, doop. This line I would see a little bit, doop. This line right here, doop. And then this little line right here, doop. So it looks like it connects. I'm going to do these last 2 off camera, so you put me on pause and you do the same. All right, so we're ready for row 3, and I just wanted to point out, you know, on this one, I think I was only able to put 2 little lines inside here because this opening wasn't big enough to really see what this line would do under it. All right, so row 3, here we come. A V into the corner, a little V on the inside, another V into the corner with a little V inside. All the way to the corner and back with a little V inside. Oh, I'm going to go back here because on the first one I forgot the little shapes right in there. I think I would only see 2 lines there. So now I'm going to go back, a V into the corner with a little V on the inside. And what would I see here? Probably just those 2 lines. Sometimes you'll be able to see, you know, if the opening is big enough. Now this one didn't line up perfectly, did it? But hey, we're not looking for perfection. So this one you were able to see the 2 lines on this side and 1 there. And this, because the opening was big enough and the shape behind of it was skinny enough, I was able to see all 4 lines or all 2 sides of the seed pod. I'm going to finish one more on camera on this row, and then I'm going to have you put me on pause and you can do it. V on the inside. And then, what would I see inside? I don't know. Probably only 2 there. All right, I'm going to put it on pause and do the last 2 in that row. Alrighty. So now I'm going to do my next row, which would be going in this direction. A V with a V inside, another V with a V inside, and then what would I see in the opening? That is clearly not my best box. It's almost kind of like this one up here. It's okay. You got to look at the big picture. You can't get hung up on each little tiny detail. Keep moving forward. You know, you take what you learned on that last square or that last, even the last piece of paper. The first time you complete one, it's okay, but guess what? The next one will be even better. Alrighty. Oh, boy, barely get the little V on the inside there. Alright, one more. V on the inside. Okay, one last row. Got to go the other direction. Into the corner. Don't forget to go into the corner. And then the little V on the inside. And don't forget about the lines that you would see. A V there. A V there. Now, oh, this is a nice big opening. I think I would see all the lines coming through. Oh, I think I would be able to see this one right there. Oh, look, I forgot to do this inside business on that one. Sometimes you get to go back and finish stuff that you forget. Now, if you did yours 4x4, you would have been done by now. And also, when you do it larger, you'll find it'll be easier. All right, so this guy, I'm only going to see this side of him, because the other side is off the page. Because remember, it was, instead of squishing it, it's cut off. All right, so the last step is to do the black around it. This is where you just got to breathe deep and let the ink come out of the... You're not pressing harder. Pressing harder is not going to make it go any faster. It just doesn't. It doesn't work that way. And moving your pen super fast doesn't go any faster either. So you're going to, in the spaces in between the seed pods, you're going to fill in black. So those little football shapes, you're not filling in. And again, faster is not necessarily going to get it done faster. You just kind of like set your pen down and let the ink bleed, flow onto the page. And if you actually move a little bit more methodically, things will fill in faster. Kind of like you're pouring the paint out with your marker. And it takes time. but you got to go in between all the little seed pods. So when it's done, it'll look like this. Do a little bit more. So I think of them as also, they kind of look like canoes or kayaks, you know, like little boats. And so the area around the boats, like the water, you paint black here. Paint it with your pen.